Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It is round 4, or the round of 32, I nearly said 30, the round of 32 at the FIDE World Cup 2025. Game 1, there was some absolute, I don't even know what to call it, they were just spectacular. They really were. Every game, not even just every round, every game in this tournament is unbelievable. The first game I have for you is Alexey Sarana and Jose Martinez. And they had a beautiful game. So Alexey Sarana has got the white pieces. Jose Martinez has got the black pieces. d4, d5, c4, e6. So a simple queen's gambit declined. Knight to c3 and c6. e4. D takes e4, knight takes e4, and bishop to b4 check. This is a popular line. Now you play bishop takes d2, and now the queen takes. And now we take, pawn here. Now you can't really take this. You can. Queen takes g2 is possible. But, you know, there's like bishop to f3. The queen's got to get out, and you're wasting a lot of time. So while it is inviting to go pawn hunting, knight a2 is perfectly fine. It targets the bishop. The bishop moves, threatening mate. We now play f6, which is kind of strange, because you 100% allow this. And king f7, and now apparently white has nothing, but this is very scary to allow. You don't have the right to castle anymore. But Alexey Sarana plays the best move. He plays knight f3 and then b6 from Jose Martinez. Knight drops back to hit the queen. Queen slides over. We now give check, forcing g6 and now bishop to f3, and the game is very balanced. Queen gives a check. Just by the way, yes, 100% that bishop has been hanging, but the queen's been under problems. For example, if here you take, well, first you're going to lose a rook, because that is just a fork. So that is the big problem that you're encountering, which is why this game was just bananas. Like, the tactics are flying all over the place. So queen e5 check, king to f1. Now queen to c7. Now it's no longer a fork. Now the bishop retreats. Jose Martinez is up a pawn. He's still got the right to castle, although he has pushed 3 of the pawns in front of his king. e5 continues to push pawns. Knight to e4, threatening various nasty problems, but simply I just play my bishop out. Now Sarana does have an edge, but knight to d6 is not the right move, because I can play king to f8. And now you must take the bishop, which he does, and now he brings the queen out. But I can just go here. And yes, you can pick this up. I'm not scared of going into this endgame. Jose Martinez is going to try and win this endgame, which is just unbelievable. So the bishop comes back. Knight comes forward. We play b3. King to g7. Rook comes towards the center. Knight coming out. It is 2 bishops versus 2 knights. That is going to be the problem. There's a lot of pawns still on the board, so probably for the moment the knights are favored. These bishops aren't really open. In fact, this one, the light squared bishop, is threatened to be closed out the game entirely, but that would be opening the dark squared bishop a little bit. So you've got to be very calculated. So g3 comes. Now look at that. Rook to d3. Now you have to play rook e3, and look at that. Rook h d8. We bring the bishop back. Rook slides over, and now rook to g1. Knight to e4. Bishop slides back. Look at how white has had to put their pieces. Jose Martinez is on such a roll, absolutely squishing anything that Alexey Sarana wanted. Now the king has to move, and knight e4. And he's activated his pieces in the best way, and you are running into serious problems, because your pieces just can't exist like this. Bishop comes out, it targets the rook, but the rook slides in. Rook c2 is not a good move, and now Jose Martinez is winning. If he plays, knight e5. Which he does, bishop to f5, knight drops to f3, and look at them just swarming this king, swarming the pieces. They're not coordinated. We grab here, grab the rook, but I can come back. The idea obviously is if you take here, then I can take here. This is still winning, but it's not the best sequence of moves. This is the best sequence of moves. Bishop takes d3. knight jumping out. We want to preserve 2 knights versus 2 bishops. Bishop comes forward, but I can take this. Yeah. I sack the knight to get f3 check. And if you try to escape, you will either mate yourself by going back. If you go back, it's mate, and coming out here, it's check, and then I will win this endgame without too many problems. That wasn't English, but whew. Jose Martinez wins his 3rd game in a row. He won 2 games against Nordebek Abdusattorov, and he wins this one against Alexey Sarana. Which takes you to my next game, Levon Aronian versus Radoslav from Poland. Levon Aronian, just by the way, in case this hasn't been mentioned enough, is a 2-time World Cup winner. e4, e5, knight to c3, knight to f6, and a3. Man really played move 3, a3 in a Vienna. These players are just playing some ridiculous opening theory. They're not even playing opening theory anymore. They're just playing whatever the hell they want. Look at this. Queen to h5. This looks like a 300 playing. Knight comes out, bishop to b5. Look, it's a game. And bishop to e7. We take in the center. You can grab here, takes, and we get this. And Levon Aronian is just up a pawn. Now, if he can keep it, it is going to be a huge plus for him, obviously. And he does castle long. And he's now +1. He does castle long despite the fact that I can take this and then open up the b file to your king. Queen to d5. Rook slides over. Queen slides over. Knight drops back. You can have this. I don't want it. Takes. Now look at that. Rook to g1. I tricked you. Because that's mate. Just by the way. So you have to play bishop to f6. And now I take here. Offer a queen trade, which is accepted. But it's not good for you. Because Levon Aronian just plays this so smoothly, so effortlessly. His advantage just continues to swell and swell and swell. It's only plus 1.7. It's 26 moves. All he is up a pawn. He's got knight versus bishop. And they both have a dark squared bishop. But this pawn structure is terrible. I'm going to have effectively a 4 on nothing. And there's nothing you can do to stop me. I put your bishop in jail. This bishop has to stay here for the time being. It is kind of guarding against knight coming forward. But look at this. d5. +4. Because you brought your king towards the center. Silly me. I thought I needed to do that to win endgames. And look at this. Locking in the pass pawn. There's nothing you can do. I can protect all my weaknesses with my beautiful horse. You try to lock everything down. By the way, you can't trade bishops here. Because you can't win. Because if you take this, you'll lose. No, you don't lose that way. What happens? Knight to c5. You take the knight I promote. And you can't actually get back to stop this. Beautiful move. So bishop to f6 was played. But the knight came forward anyway, trying to win the pawn. I gave up here to play a4. And Levon Aronian wins. And he's probably going to the round of 16 and round 5. This game was beautiful. But let me remind you how this game started. e4, e5, knight to c3, which you will have seen a lot of times, particularly if you're a Gotham Chess subscriber. This is the Vienna game. Knight here. And if you're a Gotham Chess subscriber, you play this. You play Vienna Gambit, where the best move is d5. This is what you learn. No, if you're, a 2700 Grandmaster, you play a3. And after your opponent plays d5, the most principled move, and you have an exchange in the center, then the cutting-edge opening theory that you play is queen to h5. Final game for you. Those were the only 2 decisive games. So a little bit of a spoiler, as you can see on screen. This ends in a draw. But it's not always the end result, it's how you get there. And if you're a fan of Praggnanandhaa, you'll be very happy I told you this is a draw. Because e4, e5, knight f3, knight to c6, we get a Spanish. a6, bishop to a4, knight to f3. This is opening theory that has been seen since, the beginning of time. And we get this, knight takes d5. Now this looks like a marshal, In fact, it is the Marshall Gambit. Marshall Gambit is here. I grab this. And then this is the Marshall, which I have a video on, actually, surprisingly enough. This is the Marshall, and then you play something like here. Do you attack the rook first? I think you do. Yeah, you attack the rook. Oh, rook takes d5. No, you don't attack the rook in this order. Knight takes d5. Rook takes e5. And now bishop b7. Yeah, there we go. That's the line. Sorry, I got confused for a moment. So you can try and take that pawn in the center. Pragg does not elect to do that. He plays h3, and now bishop to b7. h3, a little bit of an inaccuracy. a4, still well-known prep. We get knight to b6, and now you have to play a5. But a5 is a mistake because of knight to d7. This is now a weakness, a permanent problem in your position. d3, king slides over, d4, well, look at that, e4 from Daniil Dubov. Just Google Daniil Dubov, like calisthenics or something, or workouts. Man is ripped, and he is about to hurt Praggnanandhaa on the chessboard. His knight is kicked back to h2. He plays f5. Knight to d2 is a huge mistake. And Daniil Dubov here is winning with queen to a8. But bishop to d6 is still fine. It loses some of the advantage because Pragg is f3. And now knight to f6 is a genuine mistake from Daniil Dubov. He does not capitalize. And now so long as Praggnanandhaa plays f takes e4, f takes e4, he will be fine. But he doesn't. He plays bishop to c2 and loses the game. Bishop to g3, rook to e2, e3. Now you have to play knight d to f1. Bishop takes h2, knight takes h2, and f4. And this structure is locked in completely. You can play queen to d3, threatening mates, but I'm going to back it up. You can play b3, I can play knight to g6. Now, if you have any idea of trying to distract this knight is still defending. There are no mate threats. Bishop to a3 is your good idea, but rook to f7. c4 makes everything worse. We take once, and now bishop to c8. It was better, and it was the only winning move for Daniil Dubov to play knight to h5 here. Knight to h5. Because you're getting in. Like, there's nothing they can really do to stop you getting to g3. The best move here for Pragg would be to play d5. But now you can play bishop to c8 as well. So the move order matters a lot. So bishop to c8 comes, but now look at this, knight to g4 is a problem. Because now you can no longer go knight to h5. I mean, you still can, but it's not as threatening because that's what he does. But you've given me the move, and now I can go to e5. Can't take because of mate. So what do? You play rook to f6. But look at this. Praggnanandhaa here could have done this, which is disgusting. But what the idea is queen takes e7, and now queen to e4. Oops. Rook is attacked. If the rook moves, now I've got this knight takes g6 check. Uh-oh. A beautiful and savage tactic. Unfortunately, he misses it. He plays rook to d1 first. But now look at that, knight to g3. Daniil Dubov is completely winning again. Rook slides back, and now I can play the bishop in. Queen slides over, trade off the bishops, which was maybe a bit premature. Queen to e8, which would have won him the game earlier. Bishop to b2, Pragg not helping his position. Rook to d8, and this is going to come to a head very, very soon as, look at that, we trade off knights. d5, queen f7, rook to d4. Rook to g5 miss. The game is level. The game is level. Praggnanandhaa has 1 minute. This is move 37. There are 3 moves left until time control. The game is level. Praggnanandhaa has 1 minute. Daniil Dubov has 3 minutes 40 seconds. The conclusion to this game is quite frankly unbelievable. Rook to b1. Rook to e8. Again, Daniil Dubov is just trying to push his pawn. He's secured his knight. He's got threats over here. Everything is secure. There are no real weaknesses. And here, Praggnanandhaa, under time pressure, plays queen to d3, which loses on the spot. To the idea knight to f5, which simply does trap the rook. But even more than that, if you play queen to e2, there is knight takes d4, which would just be winning. And the reason you would say you have to move the queen is because if you go here and you play rook to e4, there is rook takes e4, and then if, for example, you capture back, I have queen g6, and you are bust. Queen to d3 loses on the spot. 42 seconds left for Praggnanandhaa Rameshbabu. 3 minutes 20 seconds for Daniil Dubov. He plays queen to f5, offering a queen trade. And now that the queens are traded off, Praggnanandhaa makes time control with the move rook to b2, and the players shake hands and agree to a draw. You might ask why? Because surely you can push the pawn. No, you cannot. Because I can just play king to f2. And this pawn never gets through. And there is nothing else. In fact, black might be a little bit overextended. Daniil Dubov had multiple chances to put away Praggnanandhaa Rameshbabu. He failed to do so, but has another chance tomorrow with the white pieces in what is shaping up to be a very exciting game too. Only 2 decisive results, Jose Martinez and Levon Aronian, everyone else making draws. We have the round of 32, and tomorrow it will be whittled down to 16 players.